hit the subscribe button. Currently only 1.7% of my viewers are subscribe. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll release an exclusive special video just for you. The night sky over Sydney exploded in a cascade of brilliant hues as a massive alien vessel plummeted towards the harbor. Lachlan "Lockheed" Davidson stood on his balcony, transfixed by the fiery descent. The retired Australian Special Forces operative had witnessed many extraordinary events, but this was unparalleled. As the ship struck the water, an immense wave surged through the harbor, drenching the city in chaos. Lockheed grabbed his emergency gear, a reflex from years of military training, and sprinted towards the site. The streets were a blur of flashing lights and sirens, citizens panicking in the wake of the unprecedented event. He pushed through the crowd, his mind racing with questions. What was this ship? Who piloted it? And, most pressingly, were they friend or foe? Reaching the edge of the harbor, Lockheed was met by a wall of military personnel securing the area. His former commander, Colonel Marcus Reed, spotted him and waved him over. Reed's face was etched with concern, a stark contrast to his usual steely demeanor. "Lockheed, glad you're here," Reed said, his voice tense. "We have a situation. An alien vessel crashed, and we've apprehended their leader. But this isn't just an invasion. They claim to be here for something far more complex." Lockheed followed Reed to a makeshift command center. Inside, scientists and military strategists were huddled around monitors displaying the alien ship and its occupants. At the center of the room stood Zarek, the Asliel leader. His tall, imposing figure exuded an air of regality despite his alien appearance. Zarek's eyes, a deep shade of blue that seemed to glow, scanned the room with an intensity that made Lockheed uneasy. The Asliel's armor was intricately designed, reflecting their warrior culture. Lockheed stepped closer, curiosity overcoming caution. "You must be Lachlan Davidson," Zarek said, his voice resonant and calm. "I've heard much about your world and its reliance on destructive weapons." Lockheed frowned. "What's your purpose here, Zarek? Why come to Earth?" Zarek straightened, his expression grave. "We came to test humanity's resolve. Our culture values honor and tactical prowess in combat. Your weapons make battles too simple, too brutal. There is no honor in such destruction." The room fell silent as Zarek's words sank in. Lockheed felt a mix of confusion and intrigue. This wasn't an ordinary invasion. The Asliel sought something deeper, something that challenged humanity's very nature. Reed broke the silence. "Lockheed, we need your expertise. You understand strategy and combat. Help us bridge this gap. Show them we can fight with honor." Lockheed nodded, the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "I'll do what I can, but this won't be easy. Our ways are different." As Lockheed left the command center, he encountered Dr. Emily Chun, a leading xenobiologist. She was engrossed in analyzing data from the Asliel ship, her brow furrowed in concentration. Lockheed admired her dedication and brilliance. "Dr. Chun, any insights on their technology?" Lockheed asked, hoping for answers. She looked up, her eyes bright with excitement. "Their tech is incredible, Lockheed. Advanced yet elegant. They value precision and skill over sheer power. It's a fascinating contrast to our own approach." Lockheed pondered her words. The Asliel's arrival was more than a challenge. It was an opportunity to learn and adapt. As he made his way to the training grounds, his mind raced with strategies to meet the Asliel's expectations. The desert training ground was a stark, rugged expanse, perfect for honing combat skills. Lockheed assembled a team of elite soldiers, each selected for their adaptability and resilience. They trained relentlessly, adopting the Asliel's principles of honor-bound combat. Zarek observed the training with a critical eye, occasionally offering guidance. Despite their initial skepticism, the soldiers began to respect the Asliel's methods. Lockheed noticed a change in Zarek as well. The alien leader seemed to appreciate humanity's ability to learn and evolve. One evening, as the sun set over the desert, Lockheed and Zarek shared a moment of reflection. The sky blazed with colors, mirroring the alien ship's descent. "Your people are remarkable, Laki," Zarek said quietly. "You adapt quickly, and your spirit is strong." Laki nodded, feeling a growing sense of camaraderie. "We may be different, but we can learn from each other. There's strength in that." Their conversation was cut short by an explosion in the distance. Laki and Zarek exchanged a glance, recognizing the sound of human weapons. The rogue Asleal soldiers, armed with stolen technology, were attacking the training grounds. As they rushed to the scene, Laki felt a surge of determination. This was their true test, not just of combat skills, but of their ability to unite against a common threat. The battle that lay ahead would determine the future of human-Asleal relations. The sound of the explosion echoed through the training grounds, a stark reminder of the imminent threat. Lachlan, Laki Davidson, and Zarek sprinted toward the chaos, their focus sharp and unyielding. The rogue Asleal soldiers, armed with stolen human weapons, were a wild card neither side had anticipated. As they approached the battleground, the scene was a tumult of smoke, fire, and shouts. The rogue Asleal, rejecting Zarek's leadership, unleashed a barrage of firepower, their attacks indiscriminate and destructive. Laki's team, caught off guard, scrambled to regroup and counter the onslaught. "Form up," Laki bellowed, his voice cutting through the din. His soldiers, trained to adapt under pressure, quickly formed a defensive perimeter. They moved with practiced precision, their eyes scanning for threats. Zarek, his face set in grim determination, turned to Laki. "We must stop them before they cause more harm. They defy our code and threaten our mission." Laki nodded. "We'll handle this together. Let's show them the strength of unity." With a shared glance of understanding, Laki and Zarek led a counterattack. Laki's team utilized non-lethal tactics they had practiced, while Zarek's loyalists employed their own sophisticated maneuvers. The clash of metal and the thrum of energy weapons filled the air. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Emily Chun worked furiously in the command center, analyzing the rogue soldiers' tactics and devising countermeasures. Her fingers danced over the keyboard, her mind a whirlwind of calculations and hypotheses. "Laki, we've identified a weakness in their formation," she transmitted through his earpiece. "Target their left flank. It's less defended." "Got it, Emily," Laki replied, signaling his team. "Focus fire on the left. Push them back." The tide began to turn as Laki's forces executed the maneuver with precision. The rogues, unprepared for the coordinated assault, faltered. Zarek's warriors seized the opportunity, exploiting the opening and driving the attackers into retreat. As the skirmish raged, Laki found himself face-to-face with the rogue leader, a hulking Asleal named Vorith. The tension between them was palpable, each sizing up the other. Vorith's eyes burned with defiance, his grip tight on a human plasma rifle. "You think you can stop us?" Vorith sneered, his voice a growl. "We will show true strength, not bound by outdated codes." Laki's gaze hardened. "Strength without honor is nothing. We'll prove that." With a swift, practiced motion, Laki disarmed Vorith, his movements a blur of efficiency. The rogue leader staggered back, momentarily stunned, before launching himself at Laki with a roar. They grappled, their struggle a testament to the clash of ideologies as much as physical prowess. Nearby, Zarek fought alongside his loyalists, his blade flashing in the dim light. He moved with a grace and precision that belied his formidable strength, cutting through the enemy ranks with calculated strikes. His warriors followed his lead, their resolve unwavering. "Push forward," Zarek commanded, his voice a beacon of authority. "Do not let them break our lines." The battle reached a fever pitch, each side vying for dominance. Amidst the chaos, Laki finally subdued Vorith, pinning him to the ground. The rogue leader struggled, but Laki's grip was unyielding. "It's over, Vorith," Laki said, his tone firm. "Surrender and end this." Vorith snarled, but the fire in his eyes dimmed. With a final, begrudging nod, he relented. The rogue Asleal soldiers, seeing their leader captured, ceased their attacks and laid down their weapons. Silence fell over the battleground, the tension slowly ebbing away. Laki stood, helping Vorith to his feet, while Zarek and his warriors secured the area. The immediate threat was neutralized, but the implications of the skirmish lingered. Zarek approached Laki, his expression one of gratitude and respect. "You fought with honor, Lachlan Davidson. You have earned my trust." Laki nodded, his gaze steady. "And you've earned mine, Zarek. Together, we can build something better." As the dust settled, Laki and Zarek returned to the command center. Dr. Chun greeted them, her relief palpable. "Good work out there. We've managed to prevent a disaster." Reed, who had been coordinating efforts from the command center, stepped forward. "This isn't over yet. We need to understand why these rogues acted out and how we can prevent it from happening again." Laki agreed. "We have a lot of work ahead of us. But today we took a step forward. We showed that honor and unity can prevail." Zarek nodded, his eyes reflecting a newfound resolve. "Together, we will face whatever comes. Our alliance is stronger for it." As they prepared for the next phase of their mission, the bond between human and Asliel solidified. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but they were ready to face them as one. The future, uncertain and perilous, now held a glimmer of hope forged in the fires of battle and tempered by the strength of unity. The aftermath of the skirmish left an uneasy calm over the desert training grounds. The captured rogue Asliel soldiers were secured, and the dust had settled, but the tension hung thick in the air. Lachlan Laki Davidson knew this was merely the eye of the storm. As he and Zarek walked through the camp, the true magnitude of their alliance began to unfold. "Zarek, we need to understand why these rogues defied you," Laki said, his voice low and contemplative. "There's more to this than just a difference in combat philosophy." Zarek nodded, his expression somber. "I fear there are deeper divisions within my people. Not all share my vision of honorable conflict. Some crave power above all else." Their conversation was interrupted by Dr. Emily Chun, who rushed over with urgent news. "Laki, Zarek, you need to see this." She led them to the command center where a holographic display showed intercepted communications between the rogue faction and an unknown entity. "These transmissions suggest the rogues have outside support," Emily explained. "Someone is funding and arming them with human weapons." Laki's jaw tightened. "We need to trace these transmissions. If there's a larger conspiracy at play, we must uncover it before it's too late." The command center buzzed with activity as they began analyzing the data. Meanwhile, Zarek convened a council with his loyalists, seeking their insight and support. The atmosphere was charged with urgency and determination. As night fell, the camp's perimeter lights cast long shadows over the desert sands. Laki stood on a ridge, surveying the horizon. He was joined by Zarek, who carried a small, ornate box. "This belonged to my ancestors," Zarek said, opening the box to reveal a ceremonial dagger. "It symbolizes the bond between allies. I wish to offer it to you as a token of our growing trust." Laki accepted the dagger, feeling its weight both physically and symbolically. "Thank you, Zarek. We're in this together." Their moment was cut short by a sudden alert. The command center reported an unidentified vessel approaching their location. Laki and Zarek raced back, their minds racing with possibilities. "Could be another attack," Laki speculated. "Or it could be a message." The vessel landed just outside the camp, its sleek design distinct from both human and Asliel technology. The hatch opened, and a figure stepped out, tall, cloaked, and unmistakably alien. "I am Vas, emissary of the Kaldor," the newcomer announced, his voice echoing through the still night. "We have been observing your conflict and have come to offer our assistance." Laki and Zarek exchanged wary glances. "What kind of assistance?" Laki asked, his tone guarded. Vas approached, his demeanor calm and authoritative. "We share a common enemy. The rogues have allied with a faction of our own people, seeking to destabilize both our worlds. We propose a truce and cooperation to root out this threat." The room buzzed with murmurs as the implications of Vas's words sank in. Zarek stepped forward, his eyes narrowing. Why should we trust you, Kaldor? Voss met Zarek's gaze without flinching. Because we value honor as you do, and because we know the true enemy lies within our ranks. The tension in the room was palpable, each side weighing the potential benefits and risks. Laki felt a spark of hope. If the Kaldor were sincere, this alliance could turn the tide. We accept your offer, Laki said, extending his hand. But know this, betray us, and you will regret it. Voss clasped Laki's hand, sealing the agreement. You have my word. As the Kaldor integrated into the camp, sharing intelligence and resources, the mood shifted from cautious optimism to determined preparation. Laki and Zarek worked closely with Voss, developing a strategy to expose and dismantle the rogue network. Days turned into nights as they trained, planned, and fortified their alliance. The combined forces of humans, Asliel, and Kaldor represented a formidable coalition, but the path ahead was fraught with peril. One evening, as they gathered around a strategic map, Emily brought troubling news. We've traced the rogue transmissions to a hidden base deep in the mountains. It's heavily fortified and surrounded by advanced defenses. Laki studied the map, his mind racing with possibilities. We'll need a multi-pronged approach. Hit them from the air, distract their defenses, and send in a ground team to disable their operations. Zarek nodded. My warriors will lead the ground assault. We know how to navigate their defenses. Voss added, and my people will provide aerial support. Our technology can disrupt their communications and weaken their defenses. As the plan took shape, Laki felt a renewed sense of purpose. This mission was more than a battle. It was a chance to forge lasting peace through unity and cooperation. The dawn of the operation approached, casting a pale light over the desert. Laki stood with his team, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of impending action. Today, we fight not just for survival, but for a future where honor and unity prevail. Laki addressed the assembled forces. Let's show them what we're capable of. The dawn broke over the desert, casting long shadows as the coalition forces moved into position. Lachlan Laki Davidson, Zarek, and Voss stood at the forefront, ready to lead their united forces against the hidden rogue base. The air was thick with anticipation and the promise of battle. Laki addressed the assembled warriors, his voice steady and commanding. Today, we dismantle the rogue threat and restore honor to our worlds. Stay sharp, stay united, and we will prevail. Zarek raised his blade high, the gleam of the ceremonial dagger a symbol of their alliance. For honor and unity, he declared, rallying his warriors. Voss nodded, his expression one of resolute determination. We strike swiftly and decisively. Let's move. The coalition forces advanced, the Kaldor providing aerial support with their sleek, agile ships. As they approached the mountainous terrain, the rogue base's defenses activated, sending volleys of energy blasts toward the attackers. Laki's ground team moved with practiced precision, dodging incoming fire and returning calculated strikes. Emily's voice crackled over the comms. We've disrupted their communications. Their defenses are vulnerable. Now's our chance. Copy that, Laki responded. All units focus fire on their main fortifications. We breach the base and take them down from the inside. The coordinated assault hit the rogue defenses hard. Explosions rocked the mountainside as the coalition forces broke through the outer perimeter. Laki led his team into the base, Zarek and his warriors flanking them. The halls echoed with the sounds of combat, energy weapons and blades clashing in a fierce symphony. Laki and Zarek pushed deeper into the base, their movements synchronized from their shared training. They encountered heavy resistance, but their combined skills proved formidable. The rogues fought fiercely, but the unity and resolve of the coalition forces began to turn the tide. In the heart of the base, Laki and Zarek confronted Vorith, the rogue leader. He stood flanked by his elite guards, a sneer on his face. You think you can stop us? You're fools. Laki stepped forward, his gaze unwavering. We fight for honor, for unity. You've betrayed both. Vorith's eyes blazed with anger. Honor? Unity? weaknesses of the past. Strength is all that matters. Zarek's voice was like steel. You've lost your way, Vorith. This ends now. The battle that ensued was intense, a clash of ideals as much as physical combat. Vorith's guards fell one by one under the onslaught of Laki and Zarek's combined prowess. Finally, it was just the three of them, locked in a deadly dance. Vorith lunged at Laki, his movements a blur of fury. Laki parried, countering with a swift strike. Zarek moved in tandem, his blade a flash of silver as it found its mark. Vorith staggered, but his defiance burned bright. You'll never win, Vorith spat. Even as he fell to his knees, Laki met his gaze unyielding. We already have. Your reign of terror is over. With a final, decisive strike, Zarek ended Vorith's rebellion. Silence fell over the chamber, the weight of victory settling in. Laki and Zarek exchanged a nod, the bond of their alliance stronger than ever. The aftermath was a flurry of activity as the coalition forces secured the base and rounded up the remaining rogues. Emily arrived with a team of engineers, working to dismantle the rogue technology and gather valuable intel. Back at the command center, Laki, Zarek, and Voss convened to discuss the next steps. The victory was significant, but the work of rebuilding and maintaining the alliance was just beginning. We've struck a major blow against the rogue threat, Voss said, his tone reflective. But we must remain vigilant. There will be other challenges. Zarek nodded. Our people must see this alliance as a beacon of hope. We have proven that unity is our greatest strength. Laki looked around the room, seeing the determination in the eyes of his allies. We've faced incredible odds and come out stronger. Together, we can face whatever comes next. The days that followed were a whirlwind of diplomatic efforts and strategic planning. The coalition worked tirelessly to solidify their alliance, fostering understanding and cooperation between their peoples. Laki, Zarek, and Voss became symbols of what was possible when disparate worlds came together with a shared purpose. One evening, as the sun set over the desert, Laki stood with Zarek and Voss on the ridge overlooking their camp. The sky was ablaze with colors, a reminder of the challenges they had faced and the victories they had achieved. We've come a long way, Laki said, his voice tinged with pride. Zarek smiled, a rare expression of warmth. And we have much further to go. But I believe in our future. Voss nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. This is just the beginning. Together, we will forge a path to lasting peace. As they stood there, united in purpose and vision, the future seemed bright with possibilities. The alliance they had built was a testament to the strength of honor, unity, and the unbreakable spirit of those who dared to dream of a better world.